Hey, good morning. Today's another one of our first fives. I hope these are good for you every day. I hope they're good reminders of the goodness of God. I hope they point you to a better way of living. They point you to Jesus and to His words for our lives. So today we're looking at Matthew chapter 16, verses 24 to 27. So I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, my grandfather was a pastor, and my parents are people who both work really hard and both blue collar workers. And so I decided I was not going to have anything to do with ministry. In fact, I was going to get a job where I made a ton of money. I don't mean like just that I did okay for myself. I mean like filthy rich, filthy rich. And so I always wanted an Aston Martin car. So that was kind of like my dream, that I would work really hard, make a bunch of money, and buy a sweet car. Well, the closest I've gotten was I shared that in a sermon a couple years ago, and someone bought me a little Aston Martin car, and then my son has been playing with it, and I don't know where it is now. But all that to say, sometimes what we seek after are the wrong things, and we find they're empty. Right? Have you ever wanted something and you finally got it, only to realize it didn't leave you with the feeling you hoped it would? You wanted something else. You wanted the next thing, the new thing, right? It's why we can go on vacation and have a great time, and we're already looking to when the next one is, because we don't know how to live in the moment, but we long for what might be next. And that's kind of what Jesus is talking about here. Here's what he says in Matthew 16, verse 24. Then Jesus said to his disciples, "If anyone would come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever wants to save his life will lose it. But whoever loses his life for me will find it. What good will it be for a man if he gains the whole world, yet forfeits his soul? Or what can a man give in exchange for his soul? For the Son of Man is going to come in his Father's glory with the angels, and he will reward each person according to what he has done." See, I wish I had read this verse years ago, because I might have that Aston Martin now. I don't. But instead, what I find is this: that Jesus makes it pretty clear: who wants to save their life will lose it. Anyone who wants to follow me, come after him, must deny himself, take up his cross, and die to ourselves daily. Man, this is a hard teaching. This idea that we're going to put everything secondary to following Jesus, that I'll die every single day for his sake, that I want to follow him, that these next words, who wants to save his life will lose it. But then these words, but whoever loses his life for me will find it. You see, what we find is the more we go after stuff, the more our priorities become our priorities, and we don't allow God to reorient our priorities, we find again and again they're empty. We keep longing for more. You think that's not true? Why do you hear about celebrities who commit suicide who have millions of dollars? Why do you hear about people who find themselves running after all kinds of things, going from one marriage to the next, to the other person, to the next person, doing all kinds of things, seeking to fill their life with something? It's why sometimes we get addicted to drugs or alcohol. We run and want to fill our lives with something, but what we find is it leaves us feeling empty. You ever feel empty? That's why Jesus says to us here, if you'll lose your life for my sake, if you'll just say, God, you can have all of me, I'm all yours today. My priority is your priority, then your life will be saved. I'm willing to say, I'll deny myself, take up my cross, and say, I'm in, Jesus. Not only do I believe you're my Savior, but you're my Lord, and I will live for you. It'll make all the difference in the world. Because these next words are matter for us. What good will it be if a man gains the whole world, yet forfeits his soul? Or what can a man give in exchange for his soul? In other words, we can seek after all these things, but if we're not careful, we'll be empty again and again. But if we'll deny ourselves, take up our cross, and follow Jesus, we'll find life. And I don't know about you, but that's been the greatest decision I've ever made, to deny myself, to try to take up my cross, although I fall short way too often, and follow Jesus. Because when I live a life that is most fulfilled, it's when I know I'm following after Jesus. And so here's today's invitation. Here's today's challenge. Let's take up our cross. Let's deny those things we want. Let's not try to gain the whole world. But let's recognize if we'll lose our life for the sake of Jesus and his kingdom, it will find life to its fullest here and now. And so that's the challenge for today. Let's follow after Jesus, and let's let everything else become secondary. May your day be filled with grace and hope and love. We'll see you the next time.